5 years ago, I started my YouTube channel. I started it on November 5th, 2020 by releasing a video about Bushido Blade. It's not a very good video. I wouldn't recommend you go watch it. It's unlisted, but you can find it on a playlist on my YouTube channel. And in the first day, it got 19 views, and I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty excited. And then I just kept releasing a video every single week for about 6 months, and I've been kind of, pretty continuously releasing videos since then. I like making videos, and today I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the history of the channel and where I hope we go next. Because I just want to celebrate 5 years of this. It's 5 years is a long time. I don't know if you know that. So, here we go. Let's talk about it. So I started this channel on November 5th, 2020. Now, what you might remember from 2020, if you were alive then, if you're not one of my 4-year-old fans, all 0 of you, 2020 was the pandemic, right? And so, I Am Air started kind of as a little bit of a pandemic era hobby for me. I was in the middle of my PhD program. I had just finished up classes, and I was working on my preliminary exam. I actually released the video about 2 weeks before the preliminary exam, the first video that is. And during that season, I was reading on average 1 book a day to prepare for the exams. So I was like really knee deep in that. But I passed my exam in, I took it in November, passed it in December, and then I worked on my dissertation for the next couple of years. During that time, I just had a lot of free time. I was married, but we didn't have any kids yet. And I was doing my dissertation, which means I wasn't taking any classes. I was teaching only a couple classes every semester. So I had a lot of free time. And all of my time, whether it was writing or researching for my dissertation or, writing and researching for YouTube videos, was devoted to talking about video games. And so during those first kind of 6 months, I released a video every week, and it was mostly because I had never released videos before, and I wanted to learn kind of how to do it, but do it on the job, so to speak. So each video, I was learning new production techniques. I was getting just a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better at making videos. I released my first long video at the end of that, and it was about Sokoban games, which are awesome. And that video is not very good in hindsight, at least to me in hindsight, but a lot of people seem to like it still. I almost would want to make another Sokoban video someday, but I digress. And so I made that video on Sokoban, then I took a little bit of a break, only released like a video or 2 a month for the next couple months. And then I transitioned into Hi Oda, or Cleo. This is my cat. You guys can enjoy her presence today. She gets really concerned whenever I just talk to an empty room, whether it's recording one of these videos or having a Zoom call with my therapist or something, or with one of my students. This cat in particular is always like, you are going insane. You were just talking to no one. You must be talking to me, or at the very least, you should be talking to me and not yourself. Anyways, so I started releasing the elaborate reviews, the first elaborate review on the 1-year anniversary of the channel. It was on Resident Evil Village. It was my first really big multi-hour video, and that video is like long. It's like 4 hours long. It took me a lot of effort, and that started what we could call Elaborate Reviews Season 1. And I released 6 videos in that season. There was, which were all on games that I really liked, and it ended up being kind of themed around this idea of doppelgangers. Though that was not the intention when I started it. There's a little lore for you. By the end of the season, I realized it was all about doppelgangers. So what were the doppelganger reviews? It was Resident Evil Village, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. It was Omori, Elden Ring, Luigi's Mansion, and Advance Wars, all of which have like clones in some way, shape, or the other in them. And so, or deal with that in some way. And so that year was really fun, and I made I worked so hard during that period because that was from November 5th to around like July. I released those 6 videos and all of them are like 2+ hours long. So like that was like, in terms of video content produced, that was like the zenith of I Am Error. And I was really happy with it, but it was also, emblematic of the fact that I just had lots and lots and lots of free time. We were still kind of coming out of the pandemic. I was still doing my dissertation and I didn't have any kids yet. That changed though in the middle of that. We got our first baby right around in February of that year. And we've had that baby ever since. We've adopted that baby. And I love them. They dressed up as Hollow Knight for Halloween this past Halloween. So they're getting older now. They'll turn 4 in a few months. And so, which is, Jesus, they're going to turn 4. Anyways, I digress. So I got a baby, but what I found is actually having a baby made me more productive because like I was even more stuck at home because I was like stay at home momming and just like, what am I going to do with this baby? But write videos and do research on videos and stuff like that and write and research my dissertation as well. So this whole time I'm writing and researching dissertation or writing and researching games. Again, pretty much my whole day is devoted to either taking care of this baby or doing stuff related to games. And so we fast forward a year. I started a second season of Elaborate Reviews, and they're all about like the quote unquote best game I ever played. And this is covering a variety of ages. So at age 5, it was Super Mario 64. At 10, it was Ocarina of Time. At 15, it was Shadow of the Colossus. And at 20, it was Portal 2. Then we stopped there because my favorite game at 25 is probably Dark Souls, and I don't ever really want to make a video on Dark Souls. But right before the Shadow of the Colossus video, I finished my dissertation and got hit by a car and started a full-time job where I was much more busy all the time. And so the amount of videos I made went down. Not as much as it has gone down in the past about year, but it went down, quite a bit because I just didn't have as much time because I had the full-time job and my kids were getting older. And we also picked up a second baby at that point. Then about a year ago, I was going into year 2 of working a full-time job. We decided to, we got a call and we took a placement of 3 foster children. So we went from 2 kids to 5 kids. And at this point, I have 5 kids. I am working a full-time job, and they're not, and the 5 kids, obviously, they all have more acute needs because they're foster children. And I suddenly have a lot less time for videos. That's the truth, right? I just have a lot less time for videos. And more importantly, or maybe as importantly, a lot less time for video games. For those first couple of years of the channel, my life revolved around video games, whether or not I was making YouTube videos because I was writing my dissertation. Now my life revolves around teaching and my life revolves around my kids. And so I was having a harder time coming up with topics I wanted to write about. And so topics to write about became a little bit more sparse. And there's a lot of turmoil, I suppose we could say, with the number of kids I've had in the past kind of year. But right now we've settled in on kind of a 3, and we think it's going to stay that way. You don't, as a foster parent, you don't really get to pick how big your family is to some degree. But right now it's at 3, and that seems to be stable, which is good. It's good that things are kind of stabilizing on that front. But I would say that things haven't fully stabilized on the video essay front, which has led to me feeling a lot of feelings of anxiety because I care about making videos. It's something I really like doing, but it's also something that has been difficult on 2 fronts. It's been difficult to always find the time to make videos, and I think more significantly, because is that it has been difficult to find the inspiration for making videos because I haven't been playing as many video games as I was 3 years ago. And that's totally natural, right? It's like I'm putting the kids down at like 7 or 8, 8 o'clock at night. And I finally have got the house cleaned up and now it's time to likely relax. But, I just likely am not playing a game. I'm watching a movie with my wife or a show or, maybe getting some work done or something. And so I still have lots of thoughts about games, but I feel much more disconnected from the broader gaming culture. And this has presented a problem for me. If you've noticed, I haven't made a video specifically about a video game in over a year. I've made videos more about movies and things like that. Oh, I forgot something. Last summer, before we went to 5 Kids, I found this problem of inspiration kind of happening to me. And to try to reignite the fire, I released a video every week for that whole summer, which was really fun. Actually, I really liked that. And I think having that challenge in the back of my head actually really encouraged me to make videos more often. And I think I've been missing that kind of challenge, missing all day I'm thinking about video games, so all day I'm coming up with new ideas for video games, or missing that like I have this pressure on myself to make a video every week. I can't make a video every week right now, at least I don't think I can with my current schedule, but I should be making videos a little more often than I am. And so I was presented with a dilemma. Coming up on the 5-year anniversary, what do I do? And I spent the last month mulling it over a little bit. When I really sit down to brainstorm, I can think of video topics, but they aren't like sticking with me in my memory and in my mind when I'm not writing them as much because my daily life is just too busy. And so I needed a change. Option 1 was like retire the channel. Say, I don't think I have space to be Evelyn Error anymore. But I didn't like that. That wasn't very satisfying. And there was a point where I almost had accepted, like, that's my fate, like whether I like it or not, and I should just stop. And, and partly compounding that is that I have a Patreon. And while I do try to provide something for my patrons every single month to make sure that they're fed, it was weighing on me that I wasn't producing very many videos. And so option 1A, retire. But then option B kind of came to my mind. The problem isn't so much that I don't want to make videos, right? As we've established, I really like making videos. The issue is that I just don't have like a muse. I'm not constantly thinking about video games. So it's hard for me to come up with ideas about video games for like on the regular, right? And so I got to change my focus a little bit. And so I'd like to introduce you to what's going to be the series that will take up at least the next while of the I Am Air channel, and it will be interspersed with videos on potentially other topics. And that series is on Adventure Time. I watch Adventure Time with my kids before bed most nights, right? It's kind of like our show together, and we really like it. I really like it. I find it really interesting. It's probably my favorite show that I've ever watched. I love how short and digestible each of the episodes are, right? It's like my kids aren't getting that much screen time if all they get each day is 10 minutes of Adventure Time before bed. And so I like that. I like Adventure Time. And so what if I did a series where I analyze or talk about every single episode of Adventure Time? My episodes would be just as bite-sized as the episodes of Adventure Time, short, sweet, to the point a little bit, but I'd have something inspiring me to move forward. First, we'll probably start with the pilot, but first we'd start with the pilot, and then we'd go to episode 1, and then we go to episode 2, and we just kind of keep going. And the show isn't a sequential like narrative like Breaking Bad or something like that, where like it's all building up. It's like the episodes go in wildly different directions. They're about wildly different characters, especially the later on into the show you get. And I think that sounds really enticing to me. Now, there's a lot of episodes of the show. In theory, if I were to complete this project, I'd have 283-ish video essays to write, which is a lot. And no, I'm not just talking about like a vlog where I respond to each episode. And I'm not talking about writing like a review where I just tell you if the episode was like good or bad or just recap the plot. But rather, I'm talking about a full-fledged video essay where I take the content of the episode and I ruminate on it a little bit. And then I present my reflections and what it makes me think about, what meaning I find in it. Just like how I do when I review Shadow of the Colossus, where like I'm talking about being in a life-threatening car accident, right? Where I was the pedestrian. And that is, not as much to do about Shadow of the Colossus as it has to do with reflecting on life a little bit. I want to do that, but with Adventure Time. And I think having something that's driving me forward. I'm going one episode at a time. That means I always know what my next video is about, right? So I'm really excited to do that. I'm really excited to start this project, and I'm going to start it now in year 5, and we'll keep going. In theory, if I were to do one video essay a week on this, which I'm not going to keep, there's no way I'm not setting that pace as a goal at all. Maybe it'll be one a month for all I care. But if I were to do one a week, it would take like 5 years to do all the episodes of Adventure Time. So this is kind of like an unlimited well of videos that I could produce. And the nice thing is if I'm already in the pacing of making videos, when other video ideas come up, it'll probably be easier to slot them into my pacing. Like right now, I'm drafting up a video about Linda, 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 which is one of my favorite movies I just saw it in the theaters like a month ago. And I think that I would actually be more likely to make that video if I was in the middle of this Adventure Time series. And so, yeah, it's the next project. It's where we're going next. 5 years in, and we're not about video games so much anymore. We're going to do something that's a kids show, because I got kids, and that's the thing I'm really focused on right now. And I think that'll be good. And so I'll probably give a little bit more of a fleshed out example of what this series is going to look like in the first episode of the series. But the basic gist of it will be, cover each episode. The bulk of it will be a traditional video essay about some topic within the episode. And then I think the last couple minutes, I'll maybe pull back out and talk a little bit about that particular episode's place kind of within the broader Adventure Time before I close out. But the goal will be almost like it's like a reading companion to Adventure Time, maybe is in a sense. Maybe I'll come up with a title for this, but I think the best idea would be to start it and then come up with a title in like 6 months when I've already done, 20 episodes of it or something like that. All right. So, 5 years. 5 years. And a lot of you have been here a long time. I'm really grateful for each of you who have kept up with me and have watched my videos as they've come out. And those of you, especially my patrons who have stuck with me during this long season where I've been much more focused on being a mom and a university teacher than I necessarily have being a video essayist. So a couple more things to just comment on, just that come to my head. One, Minesweeper. Some of you know that one of my most popular videos ever was about my addiction to Minesweeper. Well, and that video released about 3 years ago. And I just want to let you know, I have not played Minesweeper one time since I released the video about being kind of addicted to it. So I'm proud of that. Another thing for you guys is that I will never, ever do anything where I put my kids on camera, just in case you were wondering. Sorry if that bothers you, but it's just not what I'm all about. And finally, I just want to let you know that I love you. It's been my biggest pleasure to make videos on YouTube. And the truth is, I probably would have flamed out if I was sitting it still at 19 views 5 years later. That's the truth, right? I call me shallow, call me whatever you want, but the fact that I have an audience who listens to what I have to say, who responds to what I have to say, keeps me going. That's the truth. And I'm really excited to keep sharing my thoughts and my ideas with you and my responses to media. And while we're moving a little bit beyond games for now, when the urge strikes, I'm excited to write about games again. Thank you. I'm really grateful for you having watched this video. And I will see you when the first episode of the Adventure Time series drops sometime this month. Toodles. Toodles. Oh my God. Bye.